International press, diplomats, and heads of state will be arriving in the U.S. today and tomorrow. It's the most heads of state that will ever have been at Camp David. It was on a stretch of farmland off Buchanan Trail East where Angie Daly's body was found. That's also where Jeffrey Miles told police something propelled him to hit her upside the head with a 2x4 board, killing her. Whether that's the reason for Christy Hoke's death, police say the only connection between the two victims at this time is the man who allegedly killed them. The NCAA slammed Penn State with penalties this morning in the wake of the Jerry Sandusky sex abuse trial. But that can be an indicator of sediment in the water. And sediment is a sign there's runoff going into the water. Squeakers is a Codamundi. 2 entrance points and 17 other ordering spaces. It should be a smooth ride. A man has minor injuries after flipping his car over a wall and into someone's yard Monday. Before, if you pulled out one of these, you were a very high roller. We do know some leaders are arriving at Dulles Airport today, so they could be coming through town anytime. After a man drowned in the Little Cacapon River yesterday, police are now saying it happened right in front of his family. And it took almost an hour to get help because this is such a rural area with no cell service. Police say it could have been an even bigger tragedy if not for the actions of one little girl. It was in this part of the Little Cacapon River rescuers found the body face down in the water.
And he was swimming across and he went down.
Fareed Bood had been carrying 2 girls, his nieces, on his back in the river. Police say it gets deep very quickly in that section, a popular swimming spot.
The deceased was swimming with his children, was out in the middle of the river where it was over his head and became fatigued and wasn't able to continue.
The older sister jumped in and got her younger sister out.
It was the 11-year-old girl who had to save her 3-year-old sister and amazed rescuers with her heroism.
She kept saying, my fault, and I said, no, you're the hero, you're the hero. This was just one of those kind of things that just happens. It was nobody's fault.
White says the girls are unharmed and recovering from the tragedy. The group was visiting from Upper Tract, West Virginia, and the girls are now recovering from the tragedy at a family home nearby. Reporting in Hampshire County, I'm Katie Kairos, WHAG News.
Say something, you're going to scream. Eyes are at the top of your lungs.
Get in line, get in shape, and take the hit.
Fairness, dignity.
I didn't know how bad it would feel like to be controlled every day of life, to be shot down at every mess up you make.
Because at Marine Corps Boot Camp, there's no going home until you're one of the few and the proud.
Quitting's not an option here. Once you're here, you're here. You got to put out because you're here for a reason.
To make it through 13 weeks of mental, physical, and emotional training. And it's the drill instructor's job to make Marines.
Anything they do, they have to do it as a team. And if they don't, then they ultimately fail and, there's consequences.
From getting dressed to using deadly weapons, if recruits make a mistake, they'll have to do it right, over and over again.
By the 60th time they hear that command, it's going to be muscle memories.
Marines have some of the most intensive training of all the armed forces, so physical training is especially important on Parris Island.
You're probably giving it 100%, but they're going to want 110, so you might want to put out a little more.
Not just about stamina and strength, the recruits master marksmanship, swimming, and through it all, teamwork. One saying here, the more you sweat, the less you bleed.
Not everyone can do this. Not everyone can make it, and if you can make it, that's a tremendous honor.
Women make up about 6% of the Corps, and they do all the same training.
My mom wasn't really a fan of me being a Marine, but she became a fan.
And it's the core values that will take them through: honor, courage, and commitment.
I want to be a Marine extremely badly, so nothing's going to take it away from me. I'm not quitting, no matter what.
It's the promise all new Marines make to their country. Reporting from Parris Island, Katie Kairos, WHAG News. Almost 17 years after she disappeared, police now say they know what happened to Waynesboro teenager Angie Daly and who killed her.
My concern is Angie's parents, Ed and Sunday. I hope that this brings some amount of closure to them. I can't imagine the nightmare they've undergone for the last almost 17 years now.
As the family looked on, their emotions were clear. Daly went missing in August of 1995. Until 2010, her family knew nothing about what happened to her. Then her body was found off a private farm road in Wayne Castle. Police were searching the area for the body of Hagerstown woman Christy Hoke when they found the missing 17-year-old. Jeffrey Miles is now charged with both murders.
They are very thankful now to have this closure, this limited amount of closure.
Police found a mention of Daly's killing in a notebook owned by Miles. He struck her once with a board at a home on Rabbit Road in Greencastle, then took her to what would be her burial site, where he discovered she was still alive and beat her again.
The report confirms that the victim's skull had 3 distinct areas of impact consistent with the statement given by Miles.
It was on a stretch of farmland off Buchanan Trail East where Angie Daly's body was found. That's also where Jeffrey Miles told police something propelled him to hit her upside the head with a 2x4 board, killing her. Whether that's the reason for Christy Hoke's death, police say the only connection between the 2 victims at this time is the man who allegedly killed them. Daly's remains are still at the coroner's office, but they'll be returned to the family after the trial so that they can hold a memorial service. In Franklin County, Katie Kairos, WHAG News.